You can never force nobody else to wear them.
The things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Howdy. And I am super slow at getting the switch over, the handoff, if you will. I'm just going to take a quick peek. Yep, got everything. I think everything's working right. We've got Steve here. I haven't seen Patrick yet. Wow. So, since Thursday, there has been quite a bit going on in the news. Where to begin? Um, I think we are about to see. Israel has said that they had started their next phase, if you will, of the whole system, or the whole invasion, if you will. And I have a feeling, just a sneaky suspicion, that Hezbollah is about to start their next phase. I really do think that this is something that's going to grow larger than what it already is. That's plain and simple. And I know I've heard the arguments and the things from both sides, been listening to it the whole time. Again, there is no righteous choice. You cannot pick one or the other and make a righteous choice. There's not a possibility of that here. And one thing that people really, 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 really need to do is read their Bible. I would caution people against condemning entire tribes of people that you may not quite understand who they are. And I would actually argue that great tasks have been done throughout literal centuries in order for everything to be turned upside down and inside out. Because the true plan of evil is making sure that you don't stand a chance to begin with. And that can be so easily done by teaching people wrong to begin with. And they will do your bidding for you. Case in point, Exhibit A, look at the United States of America right now. And I know I've beat this horse multiple times, and guess what? We're going to beat it again tonight. You cannot look at the biblical facts, not what we're told how to feel, not who we're told to love, who we're told to hate. You cannot look at the biblical facts and come out in support of one side or the other. But I will also say, if you truly look at the biblical facts, you're gonna come to a new understanding of who it is that's really at play here. And a bad choice of words to put on it, but I hope people realize that the Palestinians are the Philistines. I really hope people realize that. Because it seems to me like they don't have any idea. Seems to me like they don't have any idea, but they also seem to not have any idea of where the tribe of Judah was in all of this. Because you've got the tribe of Judah right now. Well, the Zionist leadership of the tribe of Judah that would have you believe that they have always been the favorite. And I would ask you to show me in the scripture where they're the favorite. I keep hearing it. I keep hearing about how they're entitled to all this. I keep hearing about how they're the chosen. Can you tell me how chosen they are? When Yeshua is on his way to the cross and continues to reject the tribe of Judah, continues on his way to the cross, he says, no, I will not be your king. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. He refused to be their king, the tribe of Judah. Don't you think there might be a little bit, just a teeny bit of importance in all of that? See, I don't miss huge things like that. I can't. I don't see how anybody could. But now you've got the tribe of Judah that never could figure out how to behave with a ton of support to take out the Philistines. What are people thinking? I can't figure it out. And that has led me to tonight's topic, purpose. I I was a very troubled youth. I I was bored. There were, hang on. Pardon me. So I had all this knowledge. I had all these comprehension skills. I had lots of devices at my disposal. And when I say devices, I'm mainly talking about tools and stuff like that. Because I used to do a lot with my hands. I mean, that's all I pretty much did. Play guitar and build stuff, fix stuff, create stuff. I just like to be working with my hands and, I don't know, improving, increasing, whatever the case may be. Um, but all throughout my youth, I never had purpose. I always had goals, and I was typically pretty good about reaching my goals. In fact, to be honest, I'm kind of spoiled with that. Um, but I didn't, and I'll say it again, I didn't have a purpose. And I mean, I was living life. I would say that I was pretty happy. Um, in and of itself, I mean, life was life. I mean, I didn't hate it. Um, the particular time in which I went from being atheist to being a believer was a fairly decent period of time for me. Um, I had a baby boy that was just born at the time. Were we married yet? I think we were married. If not, it was either right before or right after we got married. The time in particular I'm thinking of. Um, had a job. You know, we were working to get up on our feet, and everything seemed normal. And then he came along. And when the father came along, it real quickly started to connect dots all throughout my life. A lot of things that just never made sense, whether it be things that I had to go through or different areas of knowledge that I obtained. I mean, some of the stuff was just wacky and it's all over the place. It's crazy what I might wake up and start researching into. It's literally a wild card every day. And I've always been like that as much as I could be. Now, pre-internet days, my research was pretty limited, obviously. But that was what I saw the beauty of the internet was that I had, and I said it, the knowledge of the world at my fingertips. I had all this knowledge. I had all these skills. I had all this capability, but I didn't have a damn bit of purpose. Not a damn bit of purpose. Not aside from being able to make enough money to pay the bills and trying to raise my son to the best of my ability. That was where I was at the time. And that may sound okay, but I have always wanted more. And when I say wanted more, I'm not saying I want more reward. I'm not saying I want more of the pie. I'm saying I want more work. I want more responsibility. If I can take more, hand it over. Put it up on my shoulders for me so I can carry as much as I possibly can. Why? Am I not supposed to? Am I not supposed to bear the cross like each and every single one of us is supposed to bear the cross? That's why I speak out against, as I call them, the YouTube televangelists and stuff like that, because folks, these people, they can't see the forest for the trees. Remember the story in the user manual for people where Yeshua gets real pissed off and he starts chasing people around and flipping tables and whipping people, and oh, he was pissed. Do you remember why he was pissed? First of all, now this is where this is where your theological businessmen will try to, split hairs, because they'll try to tell you, oh, well, that was the temple. I'm not going to the temple to sell my wares. I'm not. And then what they're saying is they're not going into a church. But isn't it funny how one minute they'll talk about the temple and they'll refer to it as your body, and the next moment it's a building? Isn't there a one or the other there? Because it just, this whole opportunism, this part fits here to fit my life, and this part fits over here to fit my life, and oh, hey, we'll put something over here in the overhead. That's not how it works. He will call that bullshit out. You're not to connect him in any way, shape, or form with personal gain. Period. 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 It didn't say in the church at 901 whatever Main Street. It didn't say that. It didn't intend that. It meant at all. It meant you can't come on as a representative of the Father and then sell your wares. That's using his name in vain. The purpose of somebody doing that, like Bear, I'll say it. Why would I not say it? Believe the Father told me to stand firm. You know why? Because all of these people are pussies compared to him. Why would I fear? I damn well believe he said, or he can do what he says he can do. Why? Because of what I was talking about earlier. all those instances in my life, including some that I wouldn't be here. There are 3 different instances in my life. There is no damned way I should be alive right now, breathing air in and out of my body. No damned way. But I am. I am. And the times that I wasn't necessarily hanging on by that thread, I had just lucked out on some crazy stuff. Me and my best friend from high school one night, we were out partying. I wasn't much of a drinker. That's what he preferred to do. But he would get drunk. I'd smoke weed. We'd both be happy. It'd all be good, right? Well, one night we're heading on the way home, and there's these curves between this little town called Grantfort, which is next to Highland, and there's these curves, well-known curves. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of teenagers die on those curves. And being stupid teenagers ourselves, we're flying down the highway. And I know these curves are there. It's not that I didn't realize where I was or anything like that. This is how I drove everywhere. And my buddy CJ was sitting there. I just had a brand new JVC head deck that I put in. And it was right when they first started making it to where you could change the colors of the lights on them. I think mine had like 3 colors you could change it from. Woo, you know. So anyway, I am flying like crazy down the road in a Pinto. Don't laugh. And I'm flying. Oh, it was a pretty sweet car, really. Anyway, I'm flying. Got the music cranked. I've got 15s in the back. You know, it's awesome. Anyway, flying around these curves, and I felt my right front wheel just barely. Now, folks, we're doing, I'm sure, around 100 mile an hour, maybe a little more, around stupid curves. Because I've taken the curve so many damn times, I could have did it in my sleep. But my right front wheel just barely went off the edge of the road. And I felt it. I knew it. Everything was under control. And I was actually coming up to where I was straightening out for just a very short straightaway before my next turn. And so I went to go just nudge the wheel back up over the roadway there. And I don't know exactly how or what happened, but my car just started spinning down the highway. I can't remember now. We actually drove up and down several times to try to figure out how many times we went in a circle. And there's no way that there wasn't help at that moment. There's no way. If you realize the speeds we were doing, the small amount of area that we're talking about, the high bank ditch on the other side, or shoulder, I should say, on the other side, because when we stopped, I was facing the opposite direction I was originally going, and the passenger side of the car was up against that high shoulder. And how we managed to not even get a scrape out of that is just insane. Again, if you knew the area, exactly the area I'm talking about, what little bit of room that we had, I don't even know how we could have possibly spun that many times. It just doesn't, it's just messed up. You know, I used to get angry when I would think about all those quote unquote lucky times. I'd get pissed. Why? Because I had no purpose. And the thing that frustrated me the most was I had all that capability and know where to go with it. It's very fortunate for me to have allowed the Father to be such a part of my life. I probably wouldn't have made it this far, and I'm not saying that he would have gave up on me, but come on, there's a period in time where you make your own judgment. You do have your own will. You do have the ability to make those decisions. Doesn't force any of that on us. And when I just first started to get a glimpse of what true purpose was, I was in. I was in. The reason why I'm talking about this tonight is because we are undoubtedly inching closer and closer and closer to some very, very, very dark times for the planet, for the world, not just the United States, not just the UK, not just the Middle East, not just Ukraine or Russia or China or Taiwan. No, all of us. And I think it's going to be pretty much equally hard for everyone. Of course, the areas that have been suffering forever are going to be suffering worse. But your first world countries, they're going to be suffering together. And it's going to make the rationing, for instance, the rationing of World War II look like nothing. I have a feeling it's going to make the Great Depression look like nothing. Better find purpose. My life hasn't gotten easier because I started to serve the Father. Oh, no. No, it's actually gotten quite a bit harder. However, I love a good battle. I do. That's a secret I don't give out very often, but I do. I love a good fight. Always have. Always have. But see, I've got the self discipline and the self responsibility and the self accountability to know that regardless, that's wrong. It's wrong of me to do. Which is the other thing. How when I've done wrong things in my past, even prior to my belief, the level of guilt that I would feel was crushing. I got in trouble with the law, and not just once. No, I didn't learn the first time, clearly. Only one big one, so to speak, and it wasn't that big. So, but other than that, it's mainly just traffic stuff. Got a lot of traffic stuff. I I can't say the life's gotten easier because it's got tremendously harder. But that's only on, I don't know how to explain this. There's a song that we had just listened to earlier that does a pretty good job of explaining it. I don't remember. That's the song you had me text you. It was called Waves, wasn't it? Or not text you, but Facebook you. I think it was called Waves. It's that channel that I talk about, Tribal, that I talk about all the time. I just linked them on a recent video. I linked their channel. So they put out one today, a live performance called Waves, and does a really, really, really good job of explaining it. The purpose, I need to get back with that. The purpose, man, if you don't have purpose and you have really, really rough times, a lot of times a person will give up very easily, very quickly, because of that lack of purpose. And that's, in my opinion, one of the most important reasons to have a true purpose. Um, you have to, it goes beyond just that purpose, though. You got to have a true drive, a true motivation, and a true commitment. And I guarantee you, if you put those ingredients together, you will achieve what you set out to achieve. Now, that being said, you need to be careful of what it is you choose to want to achieve. Because again, what we as man value and what the Father values are not even close to the same thing. And I've said this before and I'll say it again because I fell for this trap too. If you're doing really well, especially like in business and stuff like that, a lot of people, they want to point to the Father and say that the Father's the one that did it, the Father's the reason for their success. That's not always true. I won't say that it can't be true, but more often than not, that's not the Father's work because the Father does not push materialism. He just doesn't. And to think so would be quite silly, to be honest. So I would advise making your purpose money or possessions or material things. But as we move closer to this inevitable SHTF that we're sleepwalking into, it would seem, more and more people are going to need that strong purpose if they're going to want to make it to the other side. And when I say that, I don't mean heavenly side. I'm talking about survive what we have coming. Because I'll tell you what, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. If it wasn't for the Father, and if it wasn't for my mission with Him, and if it wasn't for the purpose that He has given me, I wouldn't be here. Hell no, I wouldn't be here. Why would I be? And I know that 99.999% of you don't know me well enough to be able to make that call. I'll make it. Not a chance. I'd be here. Not a chance. Every day I wake up, I remember that I've got 3 children out there that I have not seen since 2014. And I could go into a whole hell of a lot of stuff. I'm not going to because it's not my purpose. The last thing I want is to be here. It's the last thing I want. But because of that purpose, here I sit. Because that purpose is so much greater than myself. Because that purpose has nothing to do with me. my purpose, the little intricate parts of it, I may not even ever know. And that's fine. I just know one thing, that whether my last breath comes tonight or a decade from now, however it shakes out, I still want to be working towards that purpose. I will be. Not about me. Not about me. Hell, my purpose for being here on YouTube could very well be, I've been here for almost 10 years. There may be just one single individual that needs to hear what I have to say that might turn around and take that information and the purpose, make it much larger than I could ever dream of doing. And you know what? I'm excellent with that. Because it's not about me. I don't have to be the guy. If you want true purpose for the Father, better be willing to give up true surrender. True surrender, not none of this. Yeah, true surrender. And I don't even know what the purpose of the night. it it came to me. I asked him, "What am I?" I literally did, and I'm going to be honest. I didn't really expect an answer. It kind of blindsided me. I was like thinking, well, okay, what do you want me to do the show? And now I'm starting to go through my list of headlines, right? And resounding purpose. Okay, then, I guess we're talking about purpose. So I don't know why. My purpose is to serve him. I don't need anything else. If he wants to tell me why, that's great. If not, yeah, sometimes it gets real frustrating, but stuff like this, whatever. Right? Again, there might be one person out there that watches this that's intended to hear it. And that may have been my entire purpose for the whole shindig. And let it be. Let it be. That'd be awesome. I mean, I just want to be a part. And yeah, the bigger the part, the better. But yeah, just let me in there somewhere, right? It's important, folks. Better have that purpose. Because life's going to get rough, you know? And one of the things I've said before is I've gotten to a point in my life that when something bad happens, I don't curse it. I don't, oh, woe is me it, or any bullshit like that. I plainly look at it and say, okay, well, what do I need to learn? And ever since I started looking at trials as learning experiences, they aren't nearly as hard to cope with. And I can look back through my life and I can look through my trials and my tribulations throughout my entire life and now have a much better understanding of why it is I had to go through this particular thing or that particular thing. I was being shaped. I've heard channels in preparedness talk about mental toughness to be able to make it through. One of them, as a matter of fact, the Angry Pepper. Recently, he put out a video. I just happened to catch it. And he was talking about mental toughness. We're talking about the guy that can't make the decision to get out of New York because it's stupid to think that he's got a chance there, regardless of how damn big he is or how damn prepped he is or anything else. There's this thing called common sense, yo, and he's lacking it. Because you cannot expect to be in a city that size and have a snowball's chance in hell. But whatever. He's got himself convinced, so let it be. Mental toughness is being able to make those tough decisions. How would you like to make the decision not to do anything and everything that you could possibly think of in your mind to do to see your children? Why? Because it's a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. If I would have done anything, even within court orders or anything, trust me, this woman only had one thing in her heart, and that was spite. Nobody would have came out of that well, and I'm meaning me or the boys. And since we live in such a society today, it is what it is. I didn't have the money to battle it in court, which is, you have to have that just to start with. And then still, chances are hell. Look at Cass Jackson. I mean, he threw a ton of money. He just, it's nuts. If you don't understand what's going on in the family court system, it's nuts. And if you have a spiteful person, if the other parent is a spiteful person, you don't stand a chance. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You don't stand a chance. So I had to make a decision. I can continue my walk with the Father and do what He needs me to do, or I could absolutely finish destroying my life by trying to pursue that. Because I guarantee you, that's all she has in mind that she wants to do is destroy. And it reminds me, and I know I talk about prepping channels that make movie references. I'm going to make a movie reference. But it truly reminds me of the Book of Eli. Denzel Washington, Eli, when he had to just keep his focus on his purpose, even having to witness unbearable events, he had to keep his focus on his purpose. And that is how I view my situation with the kids. I have to keep my focus. She's an evil woman. There's no doubt about that. But how much I let her destroy is up to me. If I completely cut her out and keep her away, then it's isolated. But even if that I let that evil into my camp even just a little bit, I chance losing it all. There's a lot of people that talk a lot of shit, especially here on YouTubes. They're known as YouTubers. I'm not a YouTuber. Not even remotely. In fact, I despise people like that, period. On any social media platform, any of it. Because to me, anybody that is willing to do anything to for likes, for admiration, whatever you want to call it, yeah, they don't got a lot of respect from me. I mean, again, I brought him up earlier. I'll bring him up again. I'm not gonna shy away. Bear posted a picture of him sitting in a chair like a week ago or so, getting makeup put on so that he could go on some show with some folks. Now, not only did the father say no, but he did it anyway. Why? Well, because of the people, right? We got to please man, right? Man, that's what's more important to please. So we'll set our ass in the chair, we'll get makeup put on, and we'll slap the father right straight in the face. And then go on camera and talk about how much we love him. Nice, isn't it? I don't have a lot of respect for people like that. I don't. If you state a purpose, let it be your purpose. Don't bullshit people for personal gain. And that's what I think about 90% of that guy is. He's a damn good salesman. Damn good salesman. Shitty servant. But that is what it is. Again, I'm not going to back away from it because I know who put me here. I know what my purpose is, and I know his power. Why would I be afraid to tell the truth? Enough's enough. Enough is enough. I'll say this, if you make a deal with the Father to serve him, you better not renege. Because I may, I don't know, I may have been able to avoid a lot of the turmoil that I've went through the last 10 years had I not been such an idiot and actually been following him instead of saying I was following him when I really wasn't even paying much damned attention at all. Hang on, coffee. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Thank you, Christopher. I did not know that. Sorry. Let me deal with that. I'm glad you pointed that out to me. I need my somewhere up here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, here it is. Hang on. Oh, great. I can't reach my thing. Wait. Now I can. Oh, great. Now it's wanting me to hang on a second. Hopefully I'm not killing the show and everything else. Okay. Let me get rid of all that. What I need is I need Patrick to draw me something cool up here because I can't art, yo. Okay. Taken care of. Thank you, Christopher. I didn't realize that. My apologies to everybody. I imagine that would have been a little creepy. Hopefully I didn't kill the show. I had all kinds of buttons and stuff. I'm throwing stuff around and I think I'm still out there. Okay, good deal. Hey, it'll get smoother and smoother and smoother doing this as time goes on. I do need my e-cig though. I can barely see up here. Because I've got like really low res black and white cameras that I'm looking through just a little square of the rest of the virtual world. Hang on. Here it is. So anywho, just make sure you choose purpose wisely and make sure you choose one. That's probably even a more important point. Make sure you choose one. I don't think a lot of people necessarily do. I wouldn't have. I mean, there ain't no way I would have. I am, and I'll just say this, and then I'll start running to headlines and stuff. I I'm very glad that I do have purpose because, again, I was fine, and I know I've said it many times, and I was a happy atheist. I was. I was I was content. I was happy. But I didn't have purpose. And the thing of it was is I was always looking for purpose. It just had no idea what it was I was really looking for. Pick that purpose wisely. I'm telling you. I really think we're coming up to craziness like you wouldn't believe. Patrick may be joining us. Maybe. I see he's popping on. Let's see. It could be a sun getting on too. So, let's see. Oh, I gotta switch views. There we go. Huh. It's called spy mode. No, my headset showed me that he had just popped online. Suggestion: the audio. What's it telling me? Hang on. The audio what? The audio stream's current bitrate 0 is lower than the recommended bitrate. I'll have to check into that. I'm starting to think it was his son that was getting on. Coffee. 1 second. I really want them to start introducing more stuff so I don't just look weird. I know the Quest 3, the new one, is supposed to have a lot more of the, what do they call it? It's where both worlds, you've got both worlds. Well, I say you got both worlds. You can take objects from the real world and bring them into your virtual world. And I forget the term that they call it. I can't remember. But the Quest 3 has or will have a lot more capability than the Quest 2 to do that stuff. I'm hoping, though, that the Quest 2 gets a little bit more ability so that you know that I've got a coffee cup here, that you actually see a coffee cup. But they're getting there. If I turn on the room, what they call the Guardian, which I've got this imaginary circle around me while I'm sitting in my chair, it's called the Guardian. If I reach outside of that circle, it will actually, can't reach out far enough. There, I went that way. I see Blue down there. Hi, Blue. Now it says, don't forget your controllers. Yeah, whatever. Just let me back to my, thank you. So anyway, if I go outside of that imaginary blue, well, I say imaginary blue circle, I actually see a blue circle. When I get close to it, I'll see it pop up. And anyway, when I go outside of that blue circle, like when my head gets outside of that blue circle, and I automatically get my black and white camera screens or cameras turn on, and I see the real world. Well, if you do the room scale Guardian, it will actually see things like I've got a table behind me and a trash can. And the Quest 2, I don't think can really recognize what those things are, but it makes like little jaggy lines around it so you won't run into it. So it's just really weird. It's like it just picks up that it's there and outlines it. It's really weird, but that's, I think, the first step into the next step, which is bringing in, and what do they call it? Mixed reality. I think that's what they call it, mixed reality, where you have things from the real world coming into your virtual world just because the system identifies what that is and then it's superimposed or whatever in front of you on the virtual, you know, screen. It's kind of cool stuff. I know I'm probably boring the hell out of a lot of people. This is cool stuff to me. All right. As you can see, I've got some headlines up there. Fun times. Let's see. Netanyahu tells Israelis to prepare for a long and difficult war. I said earlier there was a headline I remembered putting out that was saying that. And I would say absolutely. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be bad, bad. We'll see. I've never really watched Al Jazeera before in my life, but over the past few days, I've had Al Jazeera's YouTube, their live YouTube channel, streaming on our TV up there for much of the day, and you know. It's plugged in, the audio of it's plugged into the mixer, so it's got its own little mixing channel, and and so I can just real quick I can turn up the audio louder on the TV or on the computer or whatever by just the different channels. Well, just kind of peeking in here and there throughout the day, seeing what's going on, and I think it's obvious that they haven't been doing a super big push. Not that I'm saying they're not doing much, but it's not the invasion that I think a lot of people wanted or expected. And I don't think that they're going to get that invasion. At least, I don't know. I don't know that they're going to get that invasion. And if they do, you'll never know about it. Because right now, Biden is trying to walk a tightrope on this situation because he's trying to please two sides. And to be quite honest, he's getting caught in doing so because his involvement, well, the reported involvement of U.S. troops over there in Israel's operations. Again, there was some media that were reported there were some 5,000 U.S. troops that were directly involved in the operations. Now, whether or not that's true, that's what some media are saying. Um, I think it's going to get ugly. I think it's going to get ugly. And there's been a lot of people talking about it. I've been listening to what a lot of different people have to say, especially those people that are more versed on combat than myself, because I have served in the military a entirety of 0 seconds of my life. And I've never even walked into a recruitment office because they'd have laughed my ass out of that thing. Uh, yeah, me military. No, it wouldn't work out too well. I'm much I'm much too hard headed for that stuff. I don't even have a clue of how my older brother made it through boot camp. And it wasn't easy. I know that it wasn't easy, and neither was the rest of his enlistment. But, you know, yeah, I'd have probably done worse, much worse. Um, I hope that I'm wrong about this being the big kahuna, but or the leading into the big kahuna, but I think I really do think it is. No point in further EU sanctions against Russia, says member state. Hang on, I'm going to make that a little bit. I can make the screen bigger. I don't think you see anything different, but I do. Oh, wow, you do, because all that went much smaller. Wow, you do. Cool, cool. Oops. Oh, what am I doing? I went all the way up to the top. Sheesh. Okay, I'll get it down. All right. Let me scooch this stuff back over here. All right, good enough. Let me get to where I was. Russia wants to replace Japanese seafood in China. Let's see. Tough times ahead for U.S. consumers, says strategist. Hamas Israel talks slowed amid Gaza escalation, says Reuters. Russian Forex reserves growing. Moscow reveals details of Ukrainian attack on nuclear power plant. Let's see. Ex-Soviet state to nationalize branch of world's second largest steel maker. Iran vows to ignore U.S. warnings on Israel. Czech Republic should leave the UN, says defense minister. Kiev won't extend gas transit deal with Moscow, says Naftogaz. Israel scaled back Gaza ground campaign after U.S. intervention, says New York Times. Israel has crossed red lines, says Iran. Multiple U.S. bases attacked with missiles and drones, says media. I put a report out earlier on that. A German corporate giant explains why it maintains nuclear ties with Russia. Watch rare Czech howitzer hit by Russian drone in Ukraine. 2 U.S. states hit by deadly Halloween shootings. Israel strikes near Gaza's largest hospital. Netanyahu apologizes for rebuking Israel's security services. Pardon me, and that in itself there is insanity. New German Peace Party already more popular than the Greens, says a poll. Riot police deployed amid anti-Jewish protest at Russian airport. Trump's ex-Russia expert predicts big changes in international order. France poised to enshrine abortion in the Constitution. Gazans loot warehouses as desperation rises, says UN agency. A planned Jewish cultural center set on fire in Muslim Russian Republic. Beijing warns that Biden-Xi talks might not happen. Anti-Jewish rioters detained in Russian Muslim majority region. Ukrainian-linked anti-Jewish riot in Russia, what's known so far. Kind of gives you an update on the situation. Ukraine aid fails to create jobs in the U.S., says NBC. Was it really going to begin with? Israel-Hamas war, a conflict between civilization and savagery, says Trump. Yeah, well, I don't think I'll be taking my moral lessons from Trump. Russian MPs proposed renaming Halloween. Because why? Israel's needs are more urgent than Ukraine's, says U.S. House Speaker. Now, I think you know what we need to do? We need to look at them both and say, have a nice day. See ya. Let them deal with their own. Because a lot of what they're dealing with, they asked for. So, it's what it is. Nobody's got to like it, but it's the truth. Anywho, I see it snapped back down semi-okay. I mean, the sides of the windows on the side there. Well, you see them over there, I guess. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think this nation and nations around the world are in a world of hurt. And I don't see us bouncing out of it. Another thing when it comes to belief that's always kind of made me look at people like, and all these people that are convinced that someone somehow is going to find a way to fix this. And I'm looking at the good book and saying, where does it say that? Where's anybody getting that it gets fixed? Because from what I see, it runs its course. And I don't think there's going to be any of us that's going to be just swept away. I think that's a whole lot of hopium made up from a whole lot of scripture that don't exist, to be honest. Need to properly define the words, the words in the scripture, because if you don't, they'll have you thinking up is down and down is up, and they do. Cloud in the Bible is not little puffy things in the sky. It's a group of people. So when the Messiah returns, where is he going to be? Where is he going to be? Waving at me? I mean, is he like lighter than air? Is that how that works? Or does he have like a hot air balloon? Does it work that? Oh, a mistranslation. He will be with the people. Gotcha. So there's nothing I'm getting swept up in some whirlwind of graciousness, mercy, and hallelujah. No, that's made up. 100% made up. And the scripture that they largely base it on has been mistranslated and misused so many times. I tell you, it's crazy. It really is. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and wrap up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable world. Anyway, I am going to cut out of here a little quick. God willing, I'll be here tomorrow. And hope to see everyone then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.